Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be going over tattoo preparation tips. This is going to help you guys out that just first started getting into tattooing or people that have been tattooing for a while to help you get to the next level of your career. These are some tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the 12 years I've been tattooing so far. So I'm going to give you the best tips to help you grow so you can become the best artist you possibly can, and also help you stand apart from all the other artists out there already. And if this is your first time here, I am Brandon from Tattooing 101. If you like content like this, make sure you are liking and subscribing down below and hitting the little bell notification so you can be updated on all the new content we come out with each week. So let's get into tattoo preparation tips. So the best thing I could do is break this down into a couple different sections. So obviously there'll be the week before the tattoo, the week of the tattoo, and the day of the tattoo. So I'm going to break it down this way and all the things that could help you along the way with your career. And some of these things you might know, some of these things you might not. So even incorporating just one thing from this list of stuff will help you get to the next level of your career. So we'll start out with the week before. So this would be the period of time where you are having a consultation with your client, either with them messaging you over the phone or actually doing it in person. So I always recommend, they ask you what they want, you communicate a little bit, and then I always make sure I meet up with them in person. What that's going to do is be able to explain your price point, all of these things, show them what you could do for them. In that way, everyone knows exactly what's going on. It can be kind of hard whenever you're drawing for a client that you really don't know everything involved, and trying to communicate back and forth over the phone is also really hard just because you don't necessarily know exactly that moment. You have to wait for them when you're trying to draw. So I definitely recommend in-person consultations help out a lot. So at this consultation, you're going to talk about price point. That way they know exactly how much it's going to be before getting in there. So you might have issues with the people the day of or the day before being like, hey, I don't know how much money to bring. So therefore you give them a rough estimate, and then they completely ditch you because they didn't know it was going to be that much money. So being very clear with your clients in this way will save you from people dropping out last minute or just no shows when it comes to tattooing. Another thing will be you're going to make sure you get all the information needed by the client in order to draw. So this period of time you'll take your deposit. If you are taking deposits, I definitely recommend it just because you don't want to have no shows to where you spent all this time drawing and then they don't show up, and then you're left wasting all that time without getting compensation. Now, all of my tattoo deposits come out of the tattoo when they actually get it on their appointment. That's just if they completely disappear and I drew up this tattoo for them and spent hours doing it, that time is still paid for. Okay, now we'll fast forward to the week of the tattoo. This will be, a couple days before the day of the appointment. This is the time you're going to spend drawing the design. And there's a couple great tips when it comes to this that is definitely going to help you guys out. So when you create your rough draft, you're going to send it to the customer so they know exactly what they're going to want and exactly what they're going to get when they get the tattoo. With this, they're going to be able to tell you what they do like and what they don't like, if there is any. And then from that point on, you'll know exactly what your tattoo design is going to be. And you didn't spend a ton of time making everything perfect on this design for them to say that they want something different or to change this to it, and that takes way more time. So sending them a rough draft is the most important part of this process. Another reason for this is if you send them a final design and you are first starting tattooing, what they could possibly do, they could take that design and go to a different artist, and therefore you are completely lost out on that tattoo you were about to do and all of the time it took you to draw it. So the best thing to remember about this point is to make sure you are never sending completed designs to your clients. Okay, now we're at the day of. So this day is the day you're going to be doing the tattoo. You get into the studio, you get into your shop, wherever you're tattooing, and you want to make sure that everything is sterilized. So what you're going to do is clean your floor, mop your floor. I make sure I do that at the beginning of every day and the end of every day. Therefore, I know when I'm walking in there, everything's going to be clean, but I'm just going to once over it really quickly before getting into my clients. Making sure your whole area is completely sterilized. So, clean your tables, clean your setup table, clean your chairs, or, the tables, the beds that you're using in order to tattoo. And also starting a repetitive motion right now in your career is going to help you out a ton in the future, because whenever you get super busy, if you have this muscle memory and brain memory of doing this every single day, you're just going to walk in the shop, clean your area, and it's just second nature. And then the next thing you're going to do is wrap everything up. So you use plastic wrap to cover all of your work surfaces for the tattoo process. Without doing this, you could have problems with bloodborne pathogens and all sorts of things, so you want to make sure that you are doing this. It is very, very important. And the other tips are for you. So a couple of these things artists don't really think about. I've spent plenty of my time going into this tattoo studio without, eating beforehand, or I go through the whole day and I'm just so busy that you forget little things that are important for you to do, just like eating. There's been times that I've tattooed all day, got home and completely forgot to eat all day, and I just felt like I was dying when I got home. So these are all things that you really need to do in order to keep your mind at the best possible status in order to create a good tattoo. Because if you're thinking about being hungry or you're thirsty, all of these things are going to kind of affect the way you tattoo, because you're going to try to rush through it. You're going to miss things because you're just not all there. And I know this seems like something that everyone should know, but I promise you more times than not that people do this all the time. They'll go all day without eating because they were so busy. Another thing would be make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Not only is it important for your client to be doing these things, it's important for you too, because they're not the only ones sitting there for hours on end. You are too actually doing the tattoo, which your job is way more important than just sitting there, right? And I'll tell you guys a little story. So I went to a tattoo convention a couple years ago, and I was walking around and picked up on one awesome thing that I never thought about before from another artist there. So I was listening to them talk to their client, and I heard them say that they don't drink any coffee or energy drinks or anything like that. So a client actually brought them an energy drink, and they said, "Thank you so much, but I don't drink these whenever I'm tattooing." And I was like, well, that's weird. Every single tattoo artist does that, because, you know, they're tattooing all day. Whenever you get tired, you just drink an energy drink and you're just right back at it. And they explained that, you know, drinking these energy drinks create problems with me tattooing because I get the shakes, things like that. And I started to think back on all of the times that I've drank them and, you know, started to get antsy and all of these things. Even with coffee in the morning, you know, sometimes I'll start to shake. So that is one thing I incorporated in with my tattooing. So I make sure that if I have coffee, it's going to be right when I wake up, and I'm going to give myself hours in order to get that out of my system before I tattoo, because you do get the shakes. So I definitely recommend staying away from energy drinks. I know that there is a ton of artists out there that are still going to drink energy drinks and tattoo, and I understand that's fine, but that's one thing. If you want to kick your career up to the next level, sometimes you need to make sacrifices for yourself in order to get there, and just having that extra little shake in your hand could be the difference between creating a great tattoo and a good tattoo. Another thing they talked about at the convention, and I'm sure everyone has heard that conventions, you know, you tattoo during the day and you go partying at night. If you want to stand apart from all the other artists out there, the best thing you could possibly do is focus on your artwork. Instead of being the dude going to conventions to party and have fun, go there to better your career. You could go there at nighttime when everyone else is wasting time partying. You could be drawing for your clients tomorrow and preparing for that. And no one wants to be tattooing hungover. It's never fun, and it's a terrible experience for you and the client. So these are all great tips for, you know, new artists if you're first starting getting into the tattooing scene, or even artists that's been tattooing forever. Like I said, I've been tattooing for 8 years before I went to that convention, and picked up new things that helped me out even the next 4 years when I've been tattooing. So in this career, there's always things you could learn. There's always things you could change to better yourself and get you to the level that you want to be at. I hope this video was able to help you guys out and get a little bit of knowledge on some do's and don'ts when it comes to actually tattooing, to make this process a whole lot easier, or maybe even just make it a little bit better for you. As always, make sure you are liking and subscribing down below so you can keep up to date on all our new tattooing content each week. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos, and I hope to see you soon.